Yo, okay. So here we got a match between Jedi and Eugene. Looks like Jedi goes for the turtles first. He sold whatever item he got. I didn't see what it was. I would assume cloak. Well, actually, Jedi actually sells quite a lot of items from what I've seen, so could be something else. Does pick up a claws here. Right. So we got Eugene going with a fiend build and just creeping. Jedi going with Blade Master. I know he's been practicing it more lately, rather than Headhunters and Farseer. And he did Scout as well. Plus, it was an 8th peon, so he's making use of that +1 food that Orc has now. And Jedi's thinking Eugene might go easy camp on the side, but Undeads, when uncontested, can actually creep pretty easily on this map with skeletons. Now, if they are contested and the skeleton rod wears down, or they take damage on Fiends, Death Knight, etc., then this map becomes a lot harder to creep, and they might actually go to that green. But yeah, Jedi probably should have checked this side to begin with. It looks like he wasn't particularly late though, so this is still fine for him. He's coming in, ensnares on the Fiend again, so this is gonna cost him a coil. And I believe, yeah, Death Knight got the last hit, but just kind of trying to deal some damage here is Jedi's goal. Now he's going to wait and Windwalk. Ooh, a little slow there. Eugene actually gets both items, and it's huge that he got them. Both the Watcher Ward and the Claws +9. If Blade was able to get that, it would have been quite scary. If Blade had more health here, Death Knight would have to be a bit afraid. But with the Watcher Ward and Blade not having mana or much health, it's pretty safe for the Undead. And the Undead got level 3 fairly easily. Personally, I think I would like Farseer on this map. I mean, I prefer Farseer in general, but Blade can do some good things on here, and there are a lot of claws possible. However, a lot of these camps involve having to use 1 or 2 salves to creep, which can be quite annoying. It's not so bad when you can chain a couple camps together and it costs like 1 salve total or 2 salves total. But when you're, having to use a salve after every single camp or multiple salves, it gets rough. So like this camp cost him 3 salves, and he has another grunt that you almost want to salve as well. Leaves the cloak behind. Makes sense. Okay, so putting up Slaughterhouse, getting Lich. His wood is actually quite low right now. Probably from researching Burrow right away too, because otherwise he'd be at like 205 right now if he wasn't researching this, which means he'd be super close to just being able to tech. Instead, his tier 3 is actually going to be quite late. However, he's getting quite a lot of camps done, and he's going to be level 4 before his Lich even arrives with the army. Jedi, on the other hand, roaming around with a blade. He hasn't even reached level 3 yet versus level 4. So, kind of a failed opening. Has to use the speed scroll here too, or didn't really have to, but he decides to. He probably could have just ran. And if worst case scenario, he could have used his Windwalk. But I think he could have just ran because it's likely that Eugene just goes Frost Armor, which he does. He has Frost Armor on his Death Knight now. And yeah, getting these big consumables is huge for the Undead. Greater Heal Pot is huge against Orc. Sometimes Invuln can be better because of Hex and Stomp. But Greater Heal Pot is pretty good. Scroll of the Beast is also really good because Orcs tend to not get Dispel unless they're facing like Cryptlord. So there might not be any way to get rid of the Scroll of the Beast, and that's going to be a huge damage increase. Now, it would be nice to separate the Death Knight here more. He does need to watch out for taking too much damage. He might just use the Greater Heal Pot. Yeah. Kind of a misplay there, but at the same time, you know, it's not the worst thing because he's getting so many camps and so much XP. He has 4-2 against 3-2. And he's gone largely uncontested. The big thing for Eugene is going to be waiting for his statues and orb. So his tier 3 I think was a little late, but not too bad. And yeah, the big thing of the statues, I think those were pretty late. He had a slaughterhouse coming up at the same time he was producing Lich. So I feel like he probably could have had both statues out already, but maybe he produced Fiends instead and was supply blocked. I didn't see. Like he might have been sitting at 39 supply out of 40 and not being able to produce statues at that time. Ooh, watch the Raider. Okay. So searching with the blade. I do think Jedi should have harassed more early on, because now the Undead is pretty strong and is not really vulnerable to just a solo Blade harass. Blade might be able to pick off a unit, possibly even steal an item, but if he gets like dusted and nuked, he might have to like pop an invuln or speed scroll to get out, which he does not have either of. All right, we see Crystal Ball coming out pretty bad, but his other items are pretty good. And he's almost level 3. It would have been nice to separate the Death Knight more to actually get level 3 off of this camp. But get the statues. But it looks like he's going to get it regardless now anyways. Now he's separating the Death Knight. Now I think he shouldn't separate the Death Knight because the Lich was going to get 3 regardless. But yeah, he's just getting the third hero. Likely Dark Ranger? Maybe Bitlord? Okay, Dark Ranger. Okay, and then from Jedi's side, uses the blade a little bit to creep here, but separates him now, and he should get level 3 Shadow Hunter, and he has level 2 TC, so, you know, not too bad, but he's really going to need level 3 TC, and there isn't much left for him to creep to get that. Like, he would need to rush to the other side of the map and solo creep the red. But was that red already crept? I don't think so. Something went by there and scouted it. I think it's the blade walked through there earlier. But yeah, that's essentially the only thing he can do to this to get the TC to 3. And it looks like he's getting a tiny Great Hall, however, probably a bit late. I think the best timing is like right when your third hero comes out. See, now the Undead already has Tri-Hero, over 50 food. Wasn't hindered in levels. So this fight's going to be extremely hard for the Orc. He does get in. Oh my, but the backing off of the Fiends and the Stomp just completely whiffs. Okay, we do see some nice targeting on the Destroyers though. That's a really good pick-off. Okay, this Stomp was a little bit better. Still only a couple Fiends. Oh, Death Knight. And this is why Invuln can be better than Heal Pot sometimes. Because a Focus Fire with Stomp and Hex can easily take down a hero and bring you back into the game. I do believe Eugene was quite ahead in this game, but that move right there brought Jedi back into it, especially now that he has a level 3 TC. And he's going to get the Death Knight again. Oh, and that's why you got to be so careful against these heroes. Shadow Hunter plus TC is one of the strongest 2-hero combos in the game, really, because of their lockdown potential and like damage mitigation, essentially, from War Stomp and Heal Wave. Now, even with 2 hero rebuys at the tavern, Eugene is actually ahead in supply. So, you know, I wouldn't say Eugene's completely out of it, but Jedi more so brought himself back into the game through the hero focus. Looks like he's finally going to get his Great Hall set back up. He's kind of delaying it, probably spamming clarities and heal cells. Hey, there we go. His wood is not excessive, which means he's going to have to actually produce a lot of peasants or peons as well. So that's a little bit rough for him. Okay, so they both realize at this point, I think, that this is the one major camp left. Eugene's going to try to nab it, and if he does get it uncontested, it will be huge for him. He'll get level 5, level 4, and level 2. And potentially a big item like Endurance, War Drums, or Khadgars. However, we do see the Blade scouting it, so he's going to have to get this quickly and then TP out before his Death Knight gets focused. And he does so. Very nice. What did he get? He got Hood of Cunning, which is honestly, in my opinion, the worst drop possible from that camp. Apart from whatever aura your race has. So like Unholy Aura for Undead, Brilliance for Human. But as far as the stat items goes, Agility plus Intelligence is pretty bad. Some people might value it a little for the Lich, because Agility does technically give a bit of attack speed, and Int gives damage, but it's really pretty mediocre. I would pass it to the Lich, though, over Dark Ranger, because I think that intelligence on the Dark Ranger doesn't mean much. Okay, so Jedi finally picked up in supply. He's at 63 now. However, I don't think he should be fighting. I think it's fine to kind of scout out with the Blade, try to contain the Undead a bit, but I don't think actually fighting is good here because he has an expansion. He can wait for the Undead to push him. So a speed scroll out here would be nice, but he doesn't actually have one. He does have one heal scroll, which should help him quite a bit in this fight, but no invulns, so hero nuke is a little bit possible, but there is heal potions all around too. Okay, so Eugene doing work on these headhunters, picks off one there, looking to get the next headhunter, some nice burrows, the statue morph into the coil, pretty nice. But the Dark Ranger needs to watch out. She's dropping a bit low. A stomp might come in a second. Focusing the TC away. However, he comes back in while silenced. And he's not going to actually be able to get the stomp. The Dark Ranger does pull away in time. However, the Blade is there with the Purge. Might be able to get the pickoff. The TC pickoff was bigger, but a counter kill is definitely what Jedi needed. And he's working on the statues with the Blade, which is very nice. His Blade still has a heal pot, so even if he gets focused here, he should be fine as long as he pops it before the coil. And he does. However, I feel like both sides are going to want to disengage here really soon because this is starting to get sketchy from both sides. But we'll see who decides to back out first. Destroyer gets netted. A little bit of focus fire would be nice to take it down real quick. And the Blade can also take out the second one as well. We get a coil out. And then all the fiends pop up. This is Jedi's cue to get the hell out. Need to run these the other way. Okay. He does. He does back them off the other way. Overall, I would say better for the Undead because that was a fight I don't think Jedi should have taken in the first place. I think when you have an expansion and you're still, he was still producing a couple extra peons on gold and then peons on wood as well. I think that means you need to buy another couple minutes to just let your economy really advance from that. Okay, his TC is almost back. However, this army is quite scary from Undead, but he only has one damage upgrade, so. And none coming on the way. He does have a TP though. So after picking off the burrow, you might try to get a couple peons and then back off. We'll see if Jedi decides to engage or if he plays passive. He does wait for the TC, which I think is the right call. The question is, does he try to save it at all, or does he just let it drop now that it's so weak? I feel like he's going to engage here, but at this point, with the expansion already gone, it's probably better to not engage at all. And this choke point is not a good spot to fight. Choke points are typically better for fiends than orc. And his TC is getting blocked. His blade is putting some good damage on the statue right away, but we see a nice frost armor come out. He switches to the destroyer instead. Stomp coming out, pretty nice. Coil on the destroyer to save it from the blade. And we'll see how well these stomps go. That was a good stomp. Missed the heroes a little bit, but got like 5 fiends in the Death Knight. However, we see Burrow coming in again, and he has no reveal to actually finish those fiends. TC getting focused, has to run out. He has no mana either. So no heal wave. Both heroes from the orc side are dropping weak. However, Eugene does TP. Oh, the Burrow. We'll see what the orc does here. But Eugene might actually come across fast enough to where he can't actually get these pickoffs on the fiends. And he might even lose his TC if he waits around there. He should have left the army there and ran the TC back to the shop rather than the units to the shop and the TC sit there. Okay, so he does save the fiends. And that was simply because Jedi had no healing left over to heal up his TC and didn't have enough time or speed on the blade to get to the shop and back. And these peons just chilling. They ran away from the expansion earlier. And this fight is going to be extremely hard for the orc because you can't really fight without the Shadow Hunter. He is trying for a pickoff, however, we see him quickly disengage with the Death Knight. And as long as he keeps the Death Knight in a safe position, he should be fine. Yeah, army is just too big there. And Eugene gets the win. Solid showing. I think the game plan was just a little off from Jedi. I think on Turtle Rock, it's probably better to put pressure on the Undead right away before he gets to, like, he can get the green turtle camp, but then put pressure before he gets to any of the other camps because they start getting a lot harder when they're contested. They aren't camps you really want to creep while a blade or Farseer plus wolves are there. So I think that would have been a better game plan. But yeah, I think that was just the big thing was not having enough pressure early. And then not having pressure in the mid game either because he didn't pressure early. Because he didn't pressure early, the Death Knight hit 3 really quickly, which means now the only thing you can harass is the Death Knight himself, which is already kind of hard because he has Unholy Aura, which is, makes him extremely fast. He's quite tanky, and you can't really harass fiends because he has level 2 coil already. Plus Unholy Aura, of course, to run them away fast. And yeah, he just fell behind early. The Undead had high levels quickly. We saw a level 4 Death Knight before Blade Master was even level 3, which is kind of bad for the Orc side. So either Jedi needed to fully commit to creeping himself and also be above level 3, or he needed to pressure right away and prevent the Undead from getting high levels like that. Okay, so we see a ghoul opening, this, or actually not a ghoul opening, but a fast altar to harass and late graveyard. So he's going to look to prevent Orc from getting level 2. And then he's going to plan to tech quickly into Orb, try Hero, and push at that point with statues, destroyers, and a few fiends. Orc, on the other hand, we see Blade opening again. He gets a shop shortly after Blade timing. He will likely creep this for the item, possibly creep the whole camp. He does send another scout peon and produces an extra peon with the 21 food. This time he runs the peon back. So if he was looking, he probably saw the Death Knight. Okay, so rather than harassing, Death Knight's just going to creep, which I guess is probably common as well. He sees the Blade Master here, so he knows he can creep if he wants. They'll likely snipe the troll. Yeah, coil, attack. I think you're actually supposed to put one skeleton on one of the trolls so that the priest doesn't heal himself. You actually do more damage by doing that, I believe. But yeah. And now he's just going to finish the camp, and he's going to get the peon. The peon does serve the purpose of letting Jedi know where the Death Knight is at and what he's doing. We see Eugene trying to maneuver out before the Blade gets there and sees him, but the Blade does see him and will track him down. And he's also going to be able to snipe these skeletons and the troll if he wants. I actually would have liked him to kill the 2 skeletons and then the troll afterwards. However, the troll might have got coiled if he decided to do that, so maybe it was right to just secure the troll instead. And that is a nice bit of XP for the Blade, because now 1 skeleton will get him to level 2. And yeah, Eugene does go for the quick tech, looking to get tier 3 quickly and orb try hero. Jedi, on the other hand, just continuing with standard, grunts into some raiders and then play it from there, whether he adds in a couple wyvern, a kodo, possibly Tauren, headhunter, maybe a walker or 2 for spirit link. All kind of just depends on the situation. See a little bit of a weird maneuver here. I think he's trying to get his Death Knight away from the creeps, both to buy another rod, which he does, and not take damage, but the skeletons kept blocking him. And yeah, we do see him get level 2, so now the Undead is feeling a little more comfortable. Once you get Aura, it's always nice. Jedi, on the other hand, where's his grunts? Oh, he's got 1 here, and oh, is that all he has? No, he should have a. Oh, there's the other one was somewhere here too. They're looking to go to the trolls. This is a somewhat greedy camp by Eugene, but it's actually going to work out because the Blade lost track of him and he lost his peon earlier. And this is going to be a really good pickup. He gets Scroll of the Beast, which of course can be pretty good against Orc, since they typically do not want to get Dispel against Undead. unless it's like late game against Banshees or against a Crypt Lord. Illusion scouting, but just missing the Orc. Okay, so this time we see Jedi doing a little bit better of creeping himself, though. We got a little bit more even terms. It's going to be level 3 versus level 3 here. But Eugene is definitely in a decent position. He's got tier 3 on the way. He's got his Lich almost out. Slaughterhouse almost finished. Once this Ziggurat finishes, he'll be able to start pumping 2 statues and a Fiend. And then put another Ziggurat and get Dark Ranger. Okay, so creeping with the illusions, really strong on this map. And he gets the other consumable as well. I think this is a little bit of a mistake for Jedi not being able to monitor the middle of the map so much. He does get in here, but it's a little bit too late and he's not going to be able to do much. We'll see him quickly disengage. However, he does have Windwalk, so he might go back in. Misses one Trapper, but might be able to get the second one if he chooses to. Quick Frost Armor from Eugene. Very nice. And with a level 3 Death Knight, you can usually save everything. And it looks like he is going to. So 2 hexes used versus 3 Frost Armors used. And a coil, but it's harder for Orc to replenish mana because they don't have statues. Blade Master running around again. He sees that this shot was already crept, which means he should know that Undead is likely just creeping on this side now. He's trying to go in the base, but it's blocked nicely by this. Well, actually, he didn't even need the last Zig to block because the trees are still here too. And yeah, we do see Burrow statue coming out. Okay, so he will be able to pick up a Trapper here. And without much for coils, the Blade can actually... Oh, that was a bit early. Yeah, the Blade can be quite annoying here. He might actually have Frost Armor on autocast. I don't think he had to use Windwalk there. There's no Nova. There's only 1 coil, and he probably doesn't want to waste it on the Blade. So I think if he wanted, he could have dealt more damage to stuff. Or just walked away without Windwalking. But, I mean, it's not too bad. He got a couple pickoffs. Took a Murloc, took a Troll, got a Skeleton. Okay, Eugene going for the Golem camp, which is... would be a bit scary if Jedi was coming in right now, but Jedi continues to creep instead. We'll see what he gets. Jedi, on the other hand, looking like the same type of composition. Quick tier 3. I think ideally you want to get the Tiny Great Hall right away, but looks like he's holding off a bit. Blade does come in here, but way too late. Camp's already crept. Eugene will get level 4 and level 3 from the next big camp he creeps if he splits the XP properly. Or at least level 3 Lich if he solo creeps it with Lich. However, it looks like he's kind of reached his timing, so he might try to put pressure on the Orc somehow with his Tri-Hero. However, Orc has also somewhat reached his timing with Orb and Tri-Hero. So they might just both continue creeping instead. Levels benefit both a lot. Getting level 3 Lich would be huge. Level 4 DK is huge. Both for either level 2 Aura or for level 1 Death Pact. I'm not sure which one he'll choose. I do know that typically you grab Death Pact against Orc. But you would prefer Aura if you can get away with it, and he does actually go Aura. I'm typically someone who also goes Aura, so, you know, I like to play on the edge, get away with it, not worry about Hero Nuke. He should watch out for getting solo XP on this Blade here. I'm not sure if SH even got XP for that. So a bit of miss micro on hero levels, but At the same time, it's kind of good he did do it that way because now his base is getting hit and he needs to get back as soon as possible. He is going to lose one burrow. However, we're going to see a disengagement here, and does he decide to fight? He does. So Eugene goes in, gets one grunt right away, but his destroyer gets purged and quickly drops in health. Coil comes out, but it is not enough. Still goes down, and we see level 2 TC. The aura coming out will help a lot. But Scroll of the Beast on the other side will also help. Stomp a little preemptive. Could have moved in a little closer to the Fiends first, I think. He does still have one more Stomp, but he needs to be really careful with his TC. He has no heal wave, no way of escape, and TC drops. So looking for more hero focus again on the Death Knight, but it looks like he's just going to have to back off. Speed scrolls into his own base, and this is not a good sign for the Orc player. You do not want to be speed scrolling into your own base because that's kind of a sign you're in a tough position. And yeah, we see he's just not going to be able to heal up here properly. Blade Master has no mana left, no health, will take forever to heal. And he calls it, and Eugene takes the second game as well.